Once upon a time, there was a man called Arnold Mærsk McKinney Moller. He was the emperor of an empire so big that when everyone around the world saw a bright white star, they thought of his name. His biggest wish was to give something back to the people so they would remember him forever. So one day he had a court meeting with the Queen, where he invited architects to come up with a democratic proposal on how to grasp such a task. All the hopeful architects proposed monuments and grand designs to show his wealth and power. One even suggested to donate an opera house in his name for the elite and put it on the royal axis to state his position at the level of the monarchy. But Mærsk didn't want that. He wanted something that would represent equality. As a true globetrotter, he had seen the world from the seven seas, seen how people were starving and how the waves on the oceans were getting taller and taller. A fairly stable climate is essential for good living conditions on Earth. A large part of the things that humans do, such as growing food, are closely adapted to the surrounding environment and climate, so it gives the maximum possible yield under the given conditions. When the weather for one reason or another differs dramatically from the expected, be it flood, drought, heat or cold, the harvest will not provide the benefits expected. Mærsk, being a well-educated man, was well aware of this fact, of course, and as the captain of the biggest shipping business and oil industry in the world, his climate karma bank was running low. He knew that there was a necessity for some radical changes, something that would restore his karma levels and in solidarity benefit the people. "I have a plan," one man in the crowd shouted. "It will be known as the Mærsk Plan. Your empire consists of a huge infrastructure with many container ships, oil rigs and other structures which could transform Copenhagen into a living laboratory of sustainability." This radical idea demanded a total reconstruction of his life's work. No more oil drilling, no more excessive trade. It would be the beginning of a new era, driven out of necessity. The idea frightened Mærsk, but he also felt in his heart that it would be the right thing to do. Meanwhile, the man in the crowd continued. "There is an opportunity to optimize the use of our green areas and parks around the city, and it is necessary if the plan should succeed. We have in fact a place within your empire started in 1971, the Freetown. Christiania is living by their own rules in close relation with nature along the old embankment." Despite his own doubts, Mærsk knew that Christiania was loved by the people for its utopian ideals. He acknowledged the value of the cooperative lifestyle in close relation to nature, and how this could be used as a resource to benefit the greater good. But for that to happen, Christiania needed a new role in society. They needed to tolerate being part of the Mærsk Plan. Instead of throwing treated wastewater into Øresund at 6 Danish kroner per square meter, the Mærsk Plan takes the wastewater from Lynetten wastewater treatment plant and treats it through a series of biological stages along the old embankment, using it as a valuable resource. These stages will produce byproducts for treating the wastewater that will enable local production of food, energy and clean drinking water without excessive use of the groundwater. The system will function as a giant biological drain for the city centre along the embankment, restoring its former glory as a defensive wall, creating an infrastructure with hydro-powered public transport and bicycle paths that will combine the future city developments with the existing heart of Copenhagen, protecting its residents against climate change. It provides a series of flexible processes that is responsive to the patterns of social, environmental and economic layers of living connected in between the different neighbourhoods, which beneficially engages the communities and boosts their natural resources. The intensification will optimize the use of space both horizontally and vertically, plus the connectivity in between, which will make life in the city fluent and effective. "We will need people to work this system," the man said. "I can make arrangements with the Queen," Mærsk replied, and sent a bird with a proposition at once. "Dear representative of the people, my Queen and friend, I need a favour. And so it went. That Mærsk convinced the Queen that all military conscripts should work within the green infrastructure of the Mærsk Plan. Instead of going to war with other countries and other people, they would now fight global warming to restore their own misdeeds towards Mother Nature. The system shall educate and train the civilization to adapt their ways of living accordingly to climate change through sustainable conscription. Incorporating a green infrastructure into the city made the city less vulnerable to extreme rainfall, drought and heat stress. The adaptation provides a series of opportunities to improve efficiency in the living environment of neighbourhoods and districts, to increase biodiversity in the city, and to encourage the people in Copenhagen to become involved and actively participate in their community. This green adaptation simultaneously made our surroundings more attractive as a generator for green growth and encouraged a higher discipline in recycling of all stages. This revitalization of Copenhagen is an attempt to visualize the potential for the Danish capital to expand its role as a city center to include new urban intensification, leveraging recent technological strategies such as hydroponic and aquaponic production, plus controlled microclimates. Conceptual interactive methods being sustainable conscription and cooperative-driven neighborhoods, producing energy and food while contributing to the production of clean water, and iconic typologies to develop a city that has the capacity to be efficient, systemic and adaptive. One of these strategies, successfully transforming the status of dismantled building components from waste to value, from a mere resource for downcycling into a resource for identity. The waste represents a triple stock of resources, respectively related to economy, energy and culture. With the present renovation practices, far too many of these are lost in the transformation process. To address the dark side of the renovation, the skeleton structure of the Mærsk Plan gets filled out using components from local demolitions and renovation projects. To leave behind a positive history for Denmark, the green transition was a necessary transformation. It is also a transition that demanded a comprehensive social transformation process that had deep implications on how life is lived today. Everything tastes better when it's fresh and you grow it yourself, the Queen said. One night, when the traffic died slowly into the darkness, you could hear the fragile tingling sound of self-sufficiency. It was known by the people as the royal potatoes. Someone had put small bells on each and every potato plant growing in a hydroponic field, hanging free with the roots in the breeze. It is not yet known if the physical hack was a secret project by Prince Henrik of Denmark, or if it represented an act of anarchy among the people. But one thing is for certain, the sound was truly a bliss. The Mærsk Plan proved to be a uniting bond, where all residents meet in shared work and leisure, a reminder of the importance of the natural in the man-made circular economy. That was the story about how Mærsk created a resilient food system and made sure that everyone is eating in eye height with each other and with the Queen. A system that included production, recycling, knowledge and education. He changed the perception of what a city can do, and with common respect, he got known for the phrase, "One can never become too old to start something new." Arnold Mærsk McKinney Moller. The end.